Hi, this is Jeremy Cook.
This is Chris Cook with Wealth Bros, formerly the Budget Guide. And today we're going to talk about some of our stock picks. Me, Teladoc, and Jeremy, American Airlines here. So, Jeremy, why did you buy American Airlines?
Yeah, so looking back the past year, American Airlines was one of those stocks that was hit really hard because of coronavirus. And back, I think about last March, it went from $29 down to $9 a share.
Yeah,
And yeah, it's a lot. And that was a trend with like every single airline company, and it's pretty obvious why. Is because COVID hit and people weren't flying because of COVID. I was watching the stock market in general. I was looking at more specifically stocks that were hit by COVID, and American Airlines was one of those stocks that I was looking at, and I decided that since I believe that it would recover to its pre-COVID price, I felt that American Airlines would be a good pick for a stock in my portfolio. And so far, it's been doing really well. It's actually almost recovered back to its $29 a share. I think it's about $23 or $24 a share right now, and it just keeps climbing. The past few months, they've been doing really well as a company, and I believe in American Airlines over other companies such as United. If you look at United's stock price history, I think they were around $90 a share, and they crashed pretty hard, and they're only back up to like $48 a share about right now. Yeah. So like other airline companies, they haven't been able to recover as much as American Airlines. And so I feel like American Airlines was a better pick.
I was looking at actually Cheesecake Factory. I mean, it's not airlines at all, but I noticed it went down a lot, and I guess maybe because I like Cheesecake Factory, and also that I knew they would be good when everything came back. I was thinking of buying them, but I ended up not, because I was just thinking about my other investments and my strategy, and wanted to stick to my strategy, even though I would have made, if I had invested when I was looking at investing, it would have doubled by now. But yeah, I don't know. I guess my question is, I guess, like, what made you like want to jump in at that time?
Well, it just goes back to like me thinking that like COVID isn't like a permanent thing, and so like the stock prices of airline companies, they were like very harshly affected by COVID, and so like it just goes back to the principle: you buy low and sell high. So like if you believe in the company, you believe it's going to like return to the point that it was at before, then like I think that's a good investment, because I personally, I don't believe that COVID is going to last that much longer. And so, and we see that with like the stock market, because like the stock market has been doing well, actually the past month it wasn't doing well. This past week it's been recovering, but more specifically American Airlines, I feel like I believe in them as a company. Personally, I mean, I've flown on American airline flights, and I don't like, for example, United Airlines as much because of personal reasons, but I just believe in American Airlines business model more than I do other companies.
So like, I guess the next question is, when do you sell? Like, because that's one thing. Like,
yeah.
Like if it's all about the trends, like when is that point where it's gonna not be worth it? Because at least right now, I know, yeah, all the airlines took a huge hit, so much so that I think I saw that I forgot exactly, but it was around like negative $18 per share for American Airlines
Hmm.
stock right now. But granted, that's because a lot of the airlines are getting hit hard still.
Yeah.
So like when's that point where they are going to recover? And I guess yeah, back to that question, when would you sell?
Right now, they're almost actually back up to their stock price that they were before COVID. When I looked at their pre-COVID prices, around $29, and they're about like $24 right now. So I would personally wait until it hits that $29 mark to where it was before COVID. Because if you look at the past 5 years for American Airlines as a company, it looks like people were shorting it, and that's why the trend of the stock had been consistently going down for like in the previous 5 years. But in terms of like when you want to sell it, I would sell it at least when it hits that, or at the minimum, wait until it hits that $29 mark. But I personally believe it's going to go above that $29 mark. So I would, like me personally, I'm going to probably wait until it's in the $30 range per share until I sell it.
Since they like lost so much money, I wonder, I guess, if they can get back to where they were before in this short amount of time, at least. Like over the long term, I can see some of them getting back, but I feel like at some point, I feel like some of these, because of just the high cost of airlines, like they might have to like consolidate a little more, or one might go out of business because of this. So I guess
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to see. So, Chris, can you tell me a little bit about Teladoc? I don't think it's that well known of a company. Maybe it is, but just tell me like what they do and like how they've become successful during COVID.
Yeah, so I feel like Teladoc in a way has been one of those, it is one of those companies that was more successful because of COVID-19 coming in, because they're a health company. So what they are essentially is they have an app on your phone that you can meet with a doctor in like less than 5 minutes after you get
Oh wow. Mm-hmm.
set up. You can have a call with a doctor, a video call in 5 minutes, and they can help you with stuff. Obviously, there's some things you have to go to the hospital for, but there's some things you don't have to. Like there's ways to do some types of health practices over a video call. One of the big ones for them right now is psychology or psychiatrists. I mean, I was looking at investing in them. I was actually, I felt like their price was a little too high, and actually the prices went down quite a bit right now because there was a dip with all the tech companies, really, because I feel like a lot of people saw that the vaccine's coming out soon, so they're buying back into the companies that dropped off big last year, and now they're buying back into those ones and dropping off the tech stocks that people knew were going to do well, because they're the only companies that can still run their business, and especially like Teladoc, which would thrive in that environment. So that's essentially what Teladoc is and does.
So what made you personally want to invest in Teladoc?
I feel like healthcare is like I'm trying to find the word for it. It's just so slow, and I feel like it's way behind the times. And I was looking what healthcare was the industry where I was looking, where is there a company that's making things way better than they are? And when I found Teladoc with their application that you can meet with the doctor in like 5 minutes over the phone, like anytime, and it's just instead of having to like make an appointment with your doctor, and then it just makes things way more streamlined in healthcare. And I've done some extensive research into like their strategy, and I think healthcare is one of those industries where it's different than other industries I've invested in before, where they have had to acquire more companies that are like their company, and also companies that like are similar in or do other things in healthcare technology so they can grow. Personally, I like the companies that create more stuff themselves. But I feel like with healthcare technology, it's so fragmented, and so there's like so much to it that's just the strategy that will work for them more.
Yeah.
And so yeah, they actually recently purchased one of their competitors that does the same thing they do, and that is actually another reason why their stock price went down recently, because that big expense of buying the other company was just shown on their books last year, and they continue to have an acquisition plan to continue growing their company.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just see healthcare technology making things just way easier and way more efficient in healthcare is something that everyone needs, and so that's why I invested in that.
Yeah. So it sounds like they took advantage of the COVID crisis, and they've turned into a very profitable company. So like in your mind, like what's gonna make them like even better after COVID? Like, do you plan on investing in this company? Do you believe in this company long term, or do you believe it's just a COVID company? Do you believe that you're gonna sell your stock after like COVID is over? Like what do you think about this company in terms of the future?
Yeah, so before I answer that question, just one clarification: they are not currently profitable. So they continue to have losses year over year, but they are a younger company, so a lot of younger companies and growth companies are have that strategy. But yeah, I do believe in them long term. Do I have 100% faith that it's going to be the best investment ever? No. I think it's very I think they're very speculative play still, but I do believe that healthcare needs to be like more streamlined, way more efficient than it is, so that just everyone's lives get better, and then the costs of healthcare go down when you bring in more technology like they are doing, and so it's overall better. But whether people want to use their application or their current doctors, the big thing that is in my mind at least is, will people want to just work with their own doctors and their doctors get their own healthcare technology, or are they going to go to another service provider for that healthcare? And Teladoc, in a way, they have a lot of companies that integrate with current healthcare providers, but a lot of like their main app is all about people have to go to that app and use it. They have to it's actually a subscription of like $20 a month to use.
Oh, I see.
And it could be included in health coverage, and it's actually automatically included on like Medicare and other health coverage plans, and so that helps them have more adoption of the app. But
yeah, it does.
Overall, like people still have to, like, a lot of people like their doctor, and a lot of people want to keep their doctor and would rather keep their doctor than go to another app, and so they have to make that decision. Is it worth it to just have this ease, or should I keep my current doctor? And if I do, does my current doctor just have another app that I can use and talk with them over? So that's kind of my probably the big challenge that they will have to hurdle
Mm-hmm.
over. They can do it, or it might go bust. It could go either way in my mind right now. But I think overall, I think they have a overall competitive advantage, and will succeed. But it's a little shaky there.
Yeah, a lot of fast-growing companies with high growth rates, they tend not to be like profitable at first, but then there's usually a turning point where they start to generate profit internally. And so I mean, from what you've been telling me, it sounds like there's really good potential with Teladoc because they've been able to integrate like healthcare coverage within their app, which allows people to be more willing to try it out. Because like me personally, I probably wouldn't try it out unless it was part of my healthcare coverage, because like I'd just be like, well, I mean, I'll just go to the doctor, like, because it's covered, I don't have to pay for it. And so I think it's really smart of them to have like healthcare coverage like be a part of their app.
Yeah,
because it helps grows it.
yeah, they do that with they're expanding that more and more, and I think that will be the way that those that's one way towards their success.
Well, I mean, I don't think I have any other questions about Teladoc. I feel like they are they've been successful during COVID, and looks like they have really good potential to continue growing on that success after COVID.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, and let us know what your thoughts are. So we'll see you guys next time.
See you guys.